Following Kiss of Life's wave of backlash over cultural insensitivity earlier in April, it hasn't been easy for them to return to the spotlight. Despite efforts to turn the page with new music and multiple public apologies, the aftermath has only deepened scrutiny of the group and called into question the authenticity of their response. Kiss of Life seemed to be on their way to becoming one of K-pop's most praised groups, as their music, concepts, and personalities were heavily praised by K-pop fans from all fandoms. So when the group's insensitive actions hit the internet, netizens were horrified. The controversy originally erupted after a live stream in which Kiss of Life members adopted exaggerated hip-hop slang and behavior widely seen as mimicking Black and Latino culture. It was clear that the birthday party celebrations were originally intended to be a funny spectacle, which is why it led to such international backlash, prompting the group and their agency to issue a series of apologies. The live stream was quickly deleted, and the members each released handwritten statements promising to educate themselves and do better. Unfortunately, despite their efforts, the damage had already been done, as many fans felt like there was little the group could do to earn back the trust they had lost. What made things even worse was the planned comeback, which followed not long after, and by the time of its June 9th release, the group had managed to issue 3 apologies, the most recent one being on May 31st, just over a week before their comeback. The live stream from Julie addressed the issue more directly and specifically named the Black and Latino communities who were most impacted. She spoke about the 2 months of reflection the group had gone through and emphasized that they were committed to not repeating the mistake. However, many fans online questioned the timing of this more in-depth apology. Coming just days before their comeback, it appeared strategic and even manipulative to some. Critics speculated that it was less about genuine growth and more about trying to minimize backlash in order to ensure better sales and fan support. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with Kiss of Life's return to the stage and more, and make sure to leave your thoughts on the matter down below. Ultimately, Kiss of Life's comeback only seemed to reignite the debate. While the group has always attempted to explore new musical styles, many pointed out that their new sound continues to draw heavy inspiration from Black music genres. Given the context of their earlier controversy, this felt like quite a big contradiction, as many believed the comeback wasn't handled with enough sensitivity. To make things worse, the group's newest B-side drop, kbye, has been interpreted by some as a diss track, further fanning the flames with some of their lyrics. The lyrics seemingly alluding to the fact that the group doesn't care about being liked sparked huge controversy online, as it seemed like an extremely tone-deaf move. However, as many netizens also pointed out, the song seemed to be about an entirely different issue involving heartbreak. Even Julie later clarified that the song was directed at past lovers rather than critics, but unfortunately, the damage was already done. The idea that the group would release a song throwing shade at those hurt by their past actions, especially so soon after an apology, was enough to spark yet another round of debate, with netizens writing, "The song isn't about that, then they're just stupid for releasing it after a huge scandal because what?" However, it's not just about the lyrics either, as many fans have pointed out that their sound and concept still seem to be heavily inspired by Black culture, which many netizens have had a problem with, considering the disrespectful live stream. This, coupled with the way kbye could be interpreted, has seemingly turned even more observers against them. Netizens weren't just upset over the controversy itself, as the group also found themselves dealing with plagiarism accusations during their comeback promotions, adding even more fuel to the fire. As many pointed out, the teaser photos featuring the members posing on a bright glowing box set against a dark background bore a striking resemblance to ITZY's Kill My Doubt concept. The similarities were significant enough that many netizens could immediately see it, and it was heavily called out in online spaces. And with Kiss of Life still reeling from their previous scandal, there was little benefit of the doubt to go around. It seems like the group can do no right lately, and while their streaming numbers haven't been terrible, their online support seems to be at an all-time low, with their every move being criticized. While in the past, the group seemed to be supported even by casual fans, a huge chunk of those supporters seems to have disappeared after their continuous scandals, leaving them more vulnerable than ever. While in the past, the group might have been praised for their attempts to push boundaries or protected from such plagiarism allegations, they are now interpreted as desperate cries for attention, even when the intentions are clarified, like with kbye. However, the backlash hasn't just been focused on their new concept, as many netizens have also had a particular problem with the way their performances look. The visual choices have seemingly stirred further backlash, this time with fans and netizens alike calling out the group for provocative choreography, suggestive styling, and questionable stage antics. At the heart of this new wave of criticism is the choreography for their title track, Lips, Hips, Kiss. One particular move, where the members pull on their bra straps mid-performance, was singled out as inappropriate, as some netizens saw it as extremely suggestive. Even Belle and Natty's nose kiss was seen as a little too much for some. Although K-pop has long walked a fine line with suggestive performances, especially when it comes to female performers, many netizens felt that this was a step too far. The choreography was quickly labeled as unnecessary, especially given that Kiss of Life is still navigating a fragile recovery from their previous scandal. Some comments even pointed out how this was something that many other groups have been trying to stray away from over the years. A netizen wrote, "Third-gen seniors like Twice and G-Friend worked so hard to get rid of this kind of stuff, and now choreo like this is creeping back in." Some fans also took the criticism a step further, suggesting that the overtly provocative nature of the choreography may have been a calculated move. The theory is that with the group's reputation damaged and attention waning, the agency may be relying on the shock factor to bring them back into the spotlight. However, not all publicity is always good publicity, as this has led to accusations that the group might be trying to use the controversy as a marketing strategy, deliberately pushing boundaries to stay relevant. Seeing this, many netizens felt like trying to forcefully provoke people to give them attention and discuss yet another issue wasn't the right move, and that they should have instead attempted to stay a little more under the radar. Similarly, their performance outfits have been scrutinized for being far too revealing for the stage, with many questioning if this is really the way to showcase their feminism. Belle's bodysuit, which many described as resembling lingerie, was especially criticized. While some defenders pointed out that such stylings are common in the entertainment industry, others expressed concern about the increasingly adult look seen on young idols, especially since it looks like the company might be using the girls' looks as a way to take away attention from their mistakes. However, while some have been heavily critical of these moves, others have also long pointed out that Kiss of Life is a group of adult women who truly enjoy doing a more mature choreography with clothes that they do feel comfortable in. For many, the suggestive moves aren't enough of an issue either, especially since the group has more important things to be mindful of in this atmosphere. But despite the mixed opinions, the strategic use of this imagery, intentional or not, has only made the fan base further question the group's place in the industry, especially since this type of behavior seems to be used as a distraction tactic very often. And while some netizens see this as adult women taking control, not everyone agrees, especially a growing number of Korean fans. The backlash from Korean online communities has been particularly harsh this time around, with many stating that the group has crossed a line. While the initial controversy over cultural insensitivity sparked international outcry, the domestic reception has now taken a noticeable hit with this new concept. For K-pop idols, winning the support of Korean fans and media remains essential, especially in these early years of their careers. Losing some of that support often marks a critical blow, not just to a group's popularity, but to their long-term place in the industry. Fueling this idea is the performance that took place on the season's Park Bo-gum's Cantabile, where the group performed a sensual cover of Bruno Mars's That's What I Like. The most controversial moment came as the members circled and danced around the actor, and while he remained composed and professional, many netizens found the display awkward and maybe even uncomfortable. One netizen wrote, "It feels like those girls at school festivals who do suggestive dances around one random guy they made sit on a chair." In the past, the group's more adult themes have also been criticized by some netizens, however, things only seem to have gotten worse this time around, as very few are ready to defend them for these moves. Many fans have since voiced their frustration that the group keeps making missteps rather than demonstrating clear growth, especially with Julie releasing the third apology shortly before the comeback, making it seem more like damage control rather than sincere reflection. The lack of trust has only deepened the perception that Kiss of Life's every move is calculated for PR rather than guided by genuine accountability. As a result, the release of the comeback did not seem to draw in the same amount of excitement and support online as the members had been used to. Online discussions were more dominated by their controversies and less by their music. However, the criticism doesn't seem to have had much impact on their actual performance on Korean music charts. In fact, their first day numbers have shown a steady growth, especially compared to previous comebacks. Even online, not all responses were negative, as defenders also took to social media to point out that the criticism had gone too far at times, with potentially dangerous images being spread around at times, something that nobody deserves. This garnered quite a lot of sympathy for the members, especially as S2 Entertainment revealed plans to pursue legal action against those spreading some of the most harmful content about the group. Ultimately, many netizens argued that the group deserved a chance to grow and that their public apologies, even if delayed or imperfect, showed a willingness to engage with the backlash and grow from their mistakes. It is no doubt going to be an uphill battle for the group to try and regain public favor and to prove that they can navigate this industry with sensitivity and accountability. However, it will certainly take more than a few apologies and a poorly timed comeback.